Sorry, Scott.
Hello. Welcome to Jarviskjir, A Mother's Love. It's back. It's back. We got Dean back. We got Doxy. She's not back. She's new here.
I'm new here.
We are here to continue the critically acclaimed, award-winning. Oh, that's true. To continue the Mother's Love story. It's been a little while, both in life and in Jarviskjir, which is really my life. How's everyone doing?
I am good.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for replying to me. I appreciate.
I'm letting everyone else go first. I'm polite.
I'm really pleased.
Basically, me and Dean are very British. We're like, oh no, you first. And then Neil's like, yeah!
No, but if you all do the no, you first, then we get the usual thing. The reason why I don't usually ask how people are, because everyone's like,
Look, let's just say it how it is. I am British, but we're all queuing to get on the train, and I'm like, fuck you, I'm getting a seat.
You know what? That's actually very apt. Can't complain.
Fair enough. You can.
I'm good, Ollie. How are you?
I'm very excited for this show to be back.
I'm thrilled to
Pika's
return.
pretty stoked too.
Yeah.
I'm excited for what's to come.
Today we have Dean Cutty reprising the role of Gil'win within Jarviskjir Mother's Love, which has been voted by popular opinion the most popular Jarviskjir D&D series.
When I put the character down 6 months ago, I thought that was it for Gil'win, but I'm really glad to be back. And I think with the new direction that Ollie is taking the story, I mean, it's just perfect time to jump back into Gil'win's shoes, and I'm really happy to be here.
And what sort of development are you looking to see with Gil'win this season?
Well, Neil, I'm glad you asked. I don't know yet, because I'll do it on the fly, as I always do. And then Ollie will make me look like an idiot, and that's fine. And then in another 6 months, I'll quit again for another 6 months. And
The cycle continues. All right.
It's D&D. You shouldn't need Ollie's help to look like an idiot.
I do a good enough job.
Yeah.
Ollie's like, what would you say?
Catalyst.
Yes. Yeah. You're like the supplement.
I've always wanted to be a supplement.
Ollie's your little blue pill.
He's the springboard you leap off of.
That's a good analogy.
That's good.
There we go. We'll go with that.
Nice,
All right.
hard, rigid springboard.
Certified springboard.
Surprisingly bendy.
Oh boy.
Let's begin the show.
So, where we left off, Jarviskjir, A Mother's Love is about Gil'win Gallagher trying to find out the secrets of his mother after finding a letter from his father that they do not have the best relationship. He has decided to try and find out more about his mother, about her magic, about who she really was in life before him. Now, the adventure so far has seen the party travel to the City of Magic, and when they were there, they found where Gil'win's mother was studying, and they found a map. And the map led off into the East Sea, so that's where they head off. Their party started to splinter. When they acquired a boat, Amelia could no longer go any further. Maybe it was the anxiety of leaving the mainland, considering the commitments that she has to make in a Bastillion. Or maybe it's just how close to home some of the discussions came, especially with Gil'win before she left. But she turned and left too quickly for any of you to do anything about. But Gil'win, Haven, Melody, and Vail boarded a ship and started off towards the island of Tron. They didn't know where the maps led. They were vague and confusing, although Vail was determined to find out their puzzle. But those thoughts were in the back of his head after finding more out about his own mother and where she sadly was laid to rest after a battle. Spent a lot of time processing that on the ship. As the ship head down south towards the Isle of Tron, it hit tragedy. There was a disastrous ice storm that hit almost from nowhere when they started to get as close as they could to where the map vaguely suggested to explore. When they were doing so, and Gil'win, you could swear that you could see a man in the water, in the ice. The ship could not take the brunt of the ice storm. Huge shards of ice, as big as a giant's arm, smashing into the side of the boat. Haven, a man who spent his entire life underground, was very easily thrown overboard, and it was Melody who tried her best to save his life. But the two of them went off the side of the ship and were never seen again.
Melody! Splash.
Wow. For the next 6 months, Gil'win and Vail, but mostly Gil'win, were determined to find them. And for the next 6 months on the island of Tran, Gil'win took whatever favors he could to board passage on boats, to have boats explore this area to try to find Melody, to try to find Haven. The map was in the back of his mind at this point. But after 6 months, there's been no success. And that's where we start today. The island of Tran is a tropical paradise by all accounts. The air is hot, the sun is bright. The story starts back again in a tavern by the sea called the Horn of Grapes and Wine. This very open plan tavern is very much how a lot of Tran is, a lot of open spaces, a lot of open air. It's on the beach. The city of Tran is the island of Tran is mostly one big city that's all merchant trade routes. They are a people of trade. They know how to get the best deals. They do so, and have led to this atmosphere where there's plenty of ships coming and going. But that ended up being intense, especially after spending so long trying to get on many other ships. Now you rest on a smaller community called East Town, which, weirdly enough, is a town to the east. In this tavern, where you've been resting your heads for a bit of time while working out what to do. The story begins. Vail, you figured it out. It took a long time, but you cracked the code. The maps, when you combine them, and I'm not going to go over the exact nature of how you managed to do it, but they lead to an island. It's very small, in the middle of nowhere, but not too far away, called Beauty's Rest. And you now have the perfect directions. What you need now is another ship and another captain. And so, that's where the story begins. With you guys waking up in the tavern, the Horn of Grapes and Wine. Oh my god. Give me a moment. Scott broke Twitch. Is it done? Okay, it's done. And that's where we start. With breakfast.
You know, Gil'win, I never understood why they called this place the Horn of Wine and Plenty. Why not simply call it the cornucopia? It is far more condensed. Much better for selling yourself.
I don't think many people here know what the word cornucopia means.
Go ahead, Gil.
People come here for the drinks and the quick and easy food.
I mean, they don't
That's why we're here.
I mean, they don't even sell grapes. Only the wine.
Yeah, but I guess you can kind of like figure out that they mean the grapes of the wine and the wine from the grapes. And
oh, right. I kind of.
And I would like another glass, please.
The servant who works in the bar, and you've been here quite a long time, comes over. The people from Tran, they have a beautiful mahogany skin, and they wear very bright colors, and have bright colors in their hair. And she comes over, refills your glasses, kind of like you've been here for like back on and off for a lot of times. You've started to know, at least the servant who usually runs the place in the mornings. She kind of gives you a look. You know when you know someone's sad, but you don't really have anything to say about it? It's like, oh, it's just aw kind of look. And
you sure you want another this time in the morning?
Yeah, it's fine. You know I'm pretty good with my alcohol. It's fine.
I know that, but you know, if we do manage to find a ship today, don't want to lose your sea legs.
I'll be fine. Plus, do we really? It feels like doing this now while Melody and Haven, we know they're out there.
Let me give you a word of advice, Gil'win. Do you know what Haven would say on this? He would say, yeah. And that would be it. But Melody, she would say, Gil'win must carry on and be happy. No?
Wow, your impressions are getting way better.
Thank you. Well, you know, spending so much time with such a great actor as yourself, Gil, it brushes off. Shame the same cannot be said for your sword skills, but...
Well, I've got other things to think about other than fencing.
But you were making so much progress back on the mainland. It seems a waste to stop now, particularly when you're more likely to run into a pirate out here.
I'll befriend him, as I always do. And then, if that doesn't work, you'll kill him, as you always do.
Fair enough. I will accept this.
Vail, do you think we'll find a boat today? A ship today? Sorry, I know you like that word better.
Well, I mean, a boat is perhaps a bit inferior to a ship. I see no reason why we would not be able to find one today. If we're able to provide enough coin. I'm a bit light on the old purse myself. And I still owe you and Melody money, so maybe it's not such a bad thing. She went overboard for a small period of time until she washes ashore. I'm sure she already has. You know she can survive in the wilds.
Yeah, that's true.
And she can turn into a fish, probably.
Yeah. What about Haven?
Maybe she had to eat Haven to survive. He probably didn't know how to swim anyway, so it was probably a nicer ending for him than drowning is a horrible death.
Vail, I've known you quite a while. I'll never get used to your sick sense of humor.
Well,
Look. You can make jokes about anybody but those two right now.
Well, at least we can relax here without Amelia telling us we have to go. Hmm?
That's better. Always joke about Amelia.
Okay, good.
I miss her.
Yes. I mean, she was rather nice and intelligent, and she was quite attractive for Moon Elf spawn. But maybe you will find some new friends on a boat that we should find soon. Look, Gil'win, I'm trying to talk down to your level here. It's a little bit difficult for me to say we should be finding a galleon or a sloop or a brigantine.
I know what a galleon is.
Know what a brigantine is?
No. Good point.
A sloop?
A sloop?
A sloop?
Doesn't sound like a boat. Is that a fish?
It's a ship, yes.
It's while this conversation happens for like an extra 5 minutes.
We could have gone for another hour.
I know, but like I know, which is why I was like just happy as hell. This is the show, but I proudly boast as the one where you guys could just have a conversation around a table for an hour, and I love it. You have on your table, you actually have the maps laid out because like Vail came out, it was like we gotta go, with like his navigation tools and stuff like that, and little sketches, and there's probably a sketch of like them on a boat and going off and finding a treasure, whatever that is. Where
it's like a stick figure of Vail with a sword, and Gil'win with a lute.
Yeah, I have it in my mind. I may draw it later. Of your plan. Where Ian, someone else who also has frequented this tavern to a degree. You did very much see this. You very much see people who are planning something, but maybe aren't doing something. Why don't you describe yourself, of your character, real quick?
Okay, so, well, I mean, those two aren't looking, but what you would see is a male tabaxi. Again, I don't know whether their characters would know what a tabaxi is.
So a tabaxi, on this island of Tran, the vast majority of people you see are human. They're either Tranites, they're either from Goldport, they can be from any of the human kingdoms, really. But there's a smattering of other races because it's a trade hub and they don't throw anyone out. And you would have seen tabaxi. Tabaxi are humanoid cat people. Think Khajiit, but they're a little more on the bestial side. Whenever you would have met any, usually in like a game of chance or something, they're polite, seem a little shifty. They're cat people. What do you expect? Polite to your face.
Yeah.
Shifty from the other side.
So this one in particular, he's tall and lithe, although that's not particularly unusual for a tabaxi. His fur is sort of a grey base, almost tiger-like black stripes, and along with white paws and throat. And
he's very fluffy.
Yeah, very fluffy, very luxurious, thick fur. And he's wearing very extravagant clothing. It's like a fancy reddish purple shirt with frills and gold lace for works, billowing sleeves. Half the buttons of the shirt are obviously undone, because why not?
Which just in a very like furry way, just like
you got floof coming out.
There's a bit of fluff, yeah. Flared dark grey trousers, more gold lace. It's all obviously very tasteful, and a wide brimmed hat with a large purple feather sticking out of it. And he sees this. He's sort of sitting.
You would have seen them here a lot as well.
Yeah. He's sitting at a nearby table, and he is absent-mindedly fiddling with a pack of cards, like shuffling them. And it's very like fancy tricks. It's all very fancy tricks, very fancy shuffles. But he doesn't even seem to be thinking about it. He is completely focused on them while he's doing that. And he's got a very curious. There's a curiosity in his eyes. Very curious. He slowly He continues shuffling the cards for a minute or two, and then he pulls a card from the deck and looks at it and smiles. And then he puts the deck away in a pocket, stands up, and wanders over to your table and says, "Greetings, gentlemen. I could not help but notice, but you appear to have rather interesting plans here. You appear to be aiming for an island. I've seen you around a bit. I could not help. My curiosity is piqued, you could say. You know what they say about cats and curiosity, after all. I feel that luck has smiled upon us to bring us together on this day. Perhaps I could aid in your venture somehow."
Yes, I do know what they say about curiosity and cats, and I'll use my boot to push Vale's hand back away from his sword.
I was literally about to say Vale's hand goes onto his sword. Okay, yeah.
You're observant. Why are you so interested? Please have a seat, by the way.
My thanks. Allow me to order you another round.
I was going to say...
For these gentlemen. Well, I mean, quite frankly, because Lady Luck seems to have pointed me in this path. And that is how I make my decisions. You honestly, you piqued my curiosity, so I decided to ask my lady, and through the way of the card, she pointed me in this direction. It's as simple as that. And incidentally, I have yet to introduce myself. How rude of me. I am Ocean in the Night, the crashing waves can. Please call me knight. Everyone else does.
Okay. So you're telling me that you let your fate be decided by something as arbitrary as rolling a dice, drawing a card? I mean, that sounds ridiculous.
I mean,
And then Vail looks at the camera and goes,
he pulls out the deck of cards and starts shuffling them again very fancily and says, well, are not all of our choices ultimately a culmination of luck and chance? Our meetings, the fact that you one day met each other, it was all luck that determined it. I just take this one step further in service to Lady Luck herself. I make my decisions through luck and chance, as it were. A simple card draw, a roll of the dice, it guides me.
So, what if the cards tell you to try to kill us?
Well, it is not quite in that manner. I do not see precisely. What comes to me is the possibility, the thought of, I could go and inquire as to what those gentlemen at that table are doing. And
So
then
it's-
I draw a card, and if the card is favourable, then I pursue that course of action.
It's
So it's
while this is happening that the servant comes over with a pitcher of wine and kind of to Gil'win goes, "Oh look, you're making a friend." And
Dude.
go back away with them when all the glasses are refilled.
I just raise my glass like, yeah.
So you're telling me that this is open to interpretation?
Isn't everything?
Well, what I am saying here is it truly fate if you are interpreting it in one way? Surely it all comes down to your own choice and interpretation.
Yes, but your choices, your interpretations of something are in turn influenced by what luck and chance what paths you have walked before. Ultimately, it is all chance. But yes, you are not completely inaccurate. It is interpretation, just one based on past luck. Ultimately, everything comes down to luck, you see. But I am not here to preach my beliefs to you. But heaven forbid I would not pretend to be that sort of person. I am not an evangelist. I simply wanted to. You asked me to explain my interest, and I have done so.
Do you have coin?
Some. I am a little bit short at the moment. It comes with the territory, but I am sure I can be helpful in other ways. I have been in Tran for many years. You see, I have many connections and friends in places you might not otherwise be able to reach.
Do you know anyone who owns a boat?
Shit.
Yes, I know a few. I know more than a few. I mean, there was. I was formerly part of a guild that possessed fine vessels. They perhaps, although I have not been active with them recently, they might still be willing to lend me an ear, at least if you can pay.
Vail looks to Gil.
I just kind of give like, what else are we going to do?
Lead on,
Knight.
Knight. Yes.
I do not believe I heard your names, gentlemen. Please enlighten me.
I am Gil'win. Nice to
Gil.
meet you.
A pleasure. Ted shakes a hand.
He's got
Eric.
paws.
Pause, yeah.
It's a bit weird.
I am Eredale.
Erevail. Very well. Yes, I shall. Then, if you want to depart immediately, I can immediately take you to a contact. Might have to go the whole way to Tran, but
Well, no sense in letting the drinks go to waste, seeing as you were so kind to pay for them. So perhaps we should finish the picture before we go.
quite. I have no objection to this. While we're at it, I mean, perhaps you could tell me more of your plans, more of what you intend to do, so that I can better aid you.
We found this map, and we're just curious as to where it goes.
As good a reason as any. Very well.
Ocean, night, ocean, night, ocean.
Call me either, but most people call me Knight.
Okay, thank you. With those cards, have you ever done anything unsavory with them?
Oh. Ah.
Wait, do you mean like put them like in someone's?
Oh,
That's less so.
Right.
That's less so. But you have a keen eye, Gil'win. I got up to some misdemeanors in my youth. Occasionally still do. Yes, it was not solely the deck of cards that I used for those purposes, but they are certainly part of my repertoire, you could say.
yeah. So you're a good con man then.
Not in so many words, but yes.
You said in your younger years. How old are you?
Oh, let me think. I would have just turned 37 not 2 months ago.
Is that in cat years or?
I believe we live a similar period to humans. So
Yes.
I am not exactly a youth, but I am in the prime of my life, you could say.
Right. Yes. Then Vale puts his hand like either or, whichever is like if your hands are out there, he like puts a hand on the back of your hand or on the shoulder and says, "Yeah, prime of your life," and gives you like a little squeeze.
Knight just smiles. So if you have nothing further to say about the map, perhaps while we finish the picture, you might enjoy a game with me. No money on the table, of course, just for fun and games. I mean, do you play Call of a Mountain God?
We haven't really had so much time for gaming as of late.
Oh, that is a terrible shame. That is a terrible shame. If it pleases you, I have many different games here. I have Call of a Mountain Guard. I have this deck of cards. I have some dice.
on the table.
I suppose we could play a few games of dice to pass the time. I always was partial back on the old ship.
Ah, do you were a sailor? Perhaps you can teach me some new games. I mean, I have learnt many while in Tran. Perhaps if you were a sailor in other parts of the world, they play differently.
Maybe they do. But perhaps we should play your version, and then if you do come on a voyage with us, I can teach you then. More authentic.
Honestly.
Like he turns to Gil and he's like, oh, like just bright eyes. He's like, oh.
He draws another card. It's an excellent suggestion. Let us go with that.
Yeah, wait. I'm sorry. You drew a card to see what sort of game we would play. But when I suggested we should stay here, you didn't draw a card.
What can I say?
Like a best 2 out of 3 kind of.
Right. Yeah. So does like a card last for so long, or
Not precisely. It is more a manner of I feel the need. I feel the sudden. You know how you would have a flash of inspiration.
you're an addict?
Perhaps you could phrase it as such. I have a sudden flash of, I believe that this choice is one that should be made, that should be left up to Lady Luck purely. Other times, well, I go with my gut feeling. But for a large decision, certainly. For a large decision, it would always be via the roll of the dice or the drawing of the cards.
I see. Obviously, I mean, no offense to your...
No, I am quite used to this sort of questioning. Most people find it quite bizarre, but it is a form of devotion, a form of. It is what I believe. It is what I believe Lady Luck has led me to do.
Right. Okay then. Gil'win, you up for a game of dice?
Sure.
Give me a 20 roll, unless you're Ian, who probably has a bonus to it.
Yeah. What mod are we using?
Can I sleight of hand and cheat?
This is if you're just playing dice, it's just nothing. You can try and sleight of hand and cheat.
I want to see whether this cat can tell.
Well, yeah, okay. One.
Let's see if this cat can purr.
I'm probably
Oh,
good at
well.
that.
Had to cheat to do as well as Gil. Oh!
Obviously.
Fate.
It's presumably.
I'm going to use
It's a
luck.
complete.
Yay!
Lady Luck is shining.
Yeah, it's a complete draw. That is just like. Well,
That's perfect.
This is clearly a sign. This is meant to be.
Yeah, it's literally you have a complete draw, even with Vale trying his hardest to cheat at dice. But it is literally like, oh, this is what fun. Anyway, just so you know, Ocean, if you want to try and talk to someone in your old guild, you can in East Town. It's not just this tavern here. There's a smaller community than the city proper, but
Yeah, I figured it would be more like I go and speak to someone in East Town. They'd probably direct me to someone in Tram. Or
well,
like,
why don't we go and see?
yeah.
As you head out, do you take the other two with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not particularly trying to hide anything.
Yeah, exactly. So East Town is much smaller than Tron. It's this small little tropical community, much quieter. The actual like main city of Tron is quite loud with music and traders and things. Here you go and talk to someone who's very clearly a street busker. They're playing a little bit of a quiet flute. They're sitting down on their step, and when they see you coming up, Knight, they kind of like choke a little bit, and very quickly pick up their hat that has the coin in, and just kind of empty it back into their pocket. They didn't have much in there anyway. It was only coppers and silvers, and then they will stand back up. This man goes by the name of Dashiko. Dashiko.
Ah, Dashiko, it has been a while. I was hoping, and I realise this might be impertinent given that my recent lack of activity within our organisation, but I was
Thought you were kicked out.
Kicked out? No, by no means. I have never received any official notice. I simply do not...
Where would we send a letter?
A fine point, perhaps, but...
I'm just joshing you, Knight. Although I do think you've actually been kicked out of the guild.
It wouldn't surprise me. I have not done any jobs for quite a while, as it were. But I was hoping, perhaps, that you could point me in the right direction. My new friends here, they are interested in... they need to get to an island. Thus they need a ship, as is logical.
We're more like associates at this point. Perhaps work
My
associates.
apologies.
Do you need a ship or would a boat do?
We prefer a ship. I understand.
I believe they have coin, and I have connections, as it were. Even if those connections have slightly gone off in the time that I have been away.
Well, mate, we don't have that much coin.
Not so much.
Well, you look okay. You do not have that much coin. You have some coin. You look capable. I mean, this Vale here has manned ships before. I'm sure.
I don't care. But I mean, if you want to have your head chopped off, I do know someone.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, no. What?
I mean, Gil'win has a point. Why would you even suggest that? Do we look like people who want to have a head chopped off?
I think he was probably referring to me more than you.
Do we look like we want Knight here to have his head chopped off? I mean, the amount of blood is really, it's quite a lot.
At this point, Knight draws the card, sort of looks at it and look a little.
Yeah,
And
I don't
then
want to know
goes,
what.
Well, if you can at least point us in the right direction, then I can see about whether or not they're going to.
The dock that way. There's a ship in. It's being restocked. Worth a try before you going off to the big city.
That is fair enough. I don't suppose you would happen to know the captain of the ship?
I know she's scary.
Yeah, right.
This is-
All captains are scary.
I mean, that does not narrow down the description much. But I mean, what say you two? That sounds an inviting.
Do not worry. I'm a hardened sailor. Knight, I was not quite on the. I was a pirate.
Right.
This captain will not scare me in the least.
Dashiko like sits back down and kind of like rubs the flute a little bit and is like, "Well, knight, don't die at sea."
Well, we will have to leave that up to Lady Luck, won't we?
Yes, Lady Luck. Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it? Vale says as like we start walking by. He's like, it's strange, no?
What is strange, Vale? I'm afraid I miss your meaning.
This Lady Luck business. Do you believe it was Lady Luck's doing that you were thrown out of the guild?
Not yes and no. I mean, my revelations from Lady Luck led me to pursuing other avenues. And as you're walking along, I should say, anytime Knight sees like a beggar or anything, he'd flip them a coin, have a little chat to them. He'd help out random people on the street, like someone lifting crates or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably slowing you down quite a lot.
Vale's like, oh my god, Gil'win, this is so embarrassing. He's drawing so
slowing
much
you
attention
down
to
quite a
us.
lot, yeah. And he's basically saying to people like, in repayment of this, perhaps you could tell me a story, or perhaps you could tell me
It
anything. That
slows
sort of
you
thing.
down even more. Luckily,
Yeah.
you're in a quiet town. It doesn't happen as much as it could have if I
Yeah,
started a
exactly.
campaign further west.
So after like flipping a coin, having a chat with Beggar, he turns back. He continues on and continues. Where were we? Yes, Lady Luck led me down this avenue. I suddenly felt a burst of inspiration that what I was doing, everything had been luck, chance. It had been everything that I had experienced was a blessing from the lady. How could I not repay her? So, as a result, I more or less stopped with the guild. I mean, I still perform the occasional jobs, at least for a period. But now, as you can see, traveling through towns, I spread my good luck because that is what the lady would wish of me.
You keep saying the lady, like
The Lady Luck.
yeah, like Lady Luck, the idiom, right? Just a term.
No, Lady
Exactly.
Luck is a very real figure. I believe. Oh, I believe the people of Tran refer to my lady as Die, something. To that.
No, dying is something very
No.
different.
It is spelled D-Y. I believe that is the name they give her. Of course, that is their own prerogative, and I do not believe that any of them have experienced a blessing in the same way that I have, perhaps.
Do I know any songs or poems about dying?
Ooh, I'll allow you a performance roll for that.
There are a lot of songs about dying.
That's true. Performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll.
So actually, in the time you spent at Tron, it's quite interesting for a bard, although not that you've really immersed yourself into music as much as you would have. There's really two religious figures here that are most prominent. The first one doesn't have many songs written about her. Is called Larenway, and is kind of a god of wealth and faith. It's a trading hub. That's kind of their thing. You don't know much about it. You just know it's a thing. Whereas Lady D or Lady Di, literally, like I said, people are very widely different because it's not a very formal religion. There actually are songs about like the Lady of Luck and stuff like that. That you've definitely heard songs about the Lady of Luck, and from your knowledge, it's a very loose religion. You didn't even think of it as a religion until you kind of go back over the song in your head, and it actually does sound. It doesn't sound like a holy song, but it does hit some of the same beats.
Really? Like you believe she exists?
Well, I mean, yes, of course. She guides all chance, or well, perhaps she is chance itself. Lady Luck herself. She leads me on this path. All our chance encounters, everything that takes place is a combination of chance. Everything comes back to the lady in the end.
So to be clear, she guides you down one of many paths. She doesn't make the path.
She does not make the path herself, no, but that is because the future is inscrutable. It is a succession of chance that leads to the future. One cannot know the future as such. That is why we have to entrust it to chance.
So while you're having this conversation, walking towards one of the docks. Easttown has smaller docks. If a ship is docking in Easttown, it's not docking for trade purposes, because the trade routes aren't here. It's docking just to restock, maybe out of the way, maybe get some repairs done. One of these side docks just goes off a beach, and beach is gorgeous. I mean, if you're people who cared about beaches, and I think Vail, definitely, appreciates a good beach.
He'd like a good beach.
The beaches here are
Don't
just...
get skin this bronze without...
It's beautiful. The water is just a sapphire blue behind it. The ship at the end of the dock, and there's a little bit of a space by the dock for restocking supplies and things. The ship by the dock is kind of a medium to small little sailing ship. To everyone else but Vail, it's a boat. Vail, you immediately pay a little bit more attention as you're walking up. You can tell that it's actually a very well made vessel. It's a little beat up, not enough to make it less efficient. It's just, as you're starting to walk towards it, you notice that the top deck is just a little battered and bruised, as if there's been a lot of fighting on it, but even more than that, Now, Doxy.
Hi, hello.
Are you on the deck of your ship?
Probably loading crates onto the ship.
Why don't you describe yourself and what you're doing?
Yeah, okay. When you see Indira, you're taken aback. Not only is she doesn't look like a person that you see every day, but she is breathtaking. She is beautiful. She has ebony skin. She has, out of her forehead is growing a natural onyx crown. Her eyes are of ruby. And by of ruby, I mean they are made of rubies.
Literally, when this isn't cutesy artsy language.
They are made of rubies. She has long, shimmering, very long, thick, shimmering silver hair. And she's dressed in pretty fine leathers, covering, actually, weirdly, some really rough homespun scraps that just barely cover her, and a really, really beautiful, fine silk and gold thread spun skirt. She's probably cracking jokes with dock workers while loading her ship with supplies.
When I've changed my mind, you do the talking. Go talk to her.
Hello, hi. Excuse me?
Can I help you?
Yes. Me and my two friends here, we were shopping around, so to speak, for a ship, possibly for us to hire, to rent. I tend to Vail. I don't really know the term.
I believe what he means is that we aim to seek passage on a ship to a particular island.
That's the
charter, that is the word I believe you're looking for, Gil'win.
Well, can you sail?
He can.
He can. I have a little bit of experience.
Can you learn?
Oh, certainly.
I've been on ships.
Well, I need a crew.
Phil, use your words.
Gil is not a bad cook. And I have, and as Vail is saying this, he's looking off to the side, at the side of the boat. And I have sailed many times. I am a very confident sailor. But yes, so yes is
Not
the
much
answer.
of a confident man, it seems.
It's when you're looking at the side of the boat, Vail, that you see the name on the boat, the Scarlet Dawn, which just, as a sailor, is unsettling.
He lacks foreign confidence when talking to people, he more than makes up for in his handling of the sea. I promise that much.
Any of you proficient fishers? fisherman.
The knight just puts out a paw, claws extend.
Could be working nets, but those will come in handy in other ways, I'm sure.
Vail,
Yes.
please tell her how good you are in more than 2 words.
The knight leans a bit closer to Gilwin. Does he have a problem with?
Yes. Beautiful.
I
a common affliction.
I am very, very good. I was a navigator, and I used to work the sails, the rigging mostly. I'm light on my feet, and so I was able to get around faster than the other sailors. So yes, perhaps I could load some cargo about here while you finish the discussion. No?
I mean, if you're volunteering your muscles right now, I could use a hand, but this doesn't mean that you're my crew yet. Where are you going? Where do you need to go?
Knight at this point is already helping move the crates.
What's your strength
Nice.
score, Knight?
You can see Indira giving very approving looks at that. She likes that a lot.
He's probably very slow. He's got 10 strength, but he's doing it.
There's smaller
Doesn't
boxes.
matter.
and
Just-
sacks
Bale's
and
got 10
things.
strength as well.
She's into your initiative. She likes that.
Exactly. It's all about attitude.
Yeah.
As Vale goes by, like carrying one of these crates, he'll like, Beauty's Rest. That's where we're going. Beauty's Rest.
I didn't actually hear you, Neil.
Beauty's Rest, Gil'win. I told you,
Seymour in
all
your
that
ears.
wine. All that wine.
Indira, as I'm like struggling to carry just a ship rope because I'm a fucking little wimp. Someplace called
Just
Beauty's Rest.
Just for the record, Doxy, Gil'win is like super lanky and spindly.
Okay.
And 7 strength.
Yeah, we haven't really described our characters.
Oh no.
No,
okay.
yeah, but there's paintings and stuff. Beauty's Rest is just kind of actually, Indira, you can give me a history roll.
Sure.
I
Fast
don't
roll.
think you took history, but we'll see
Nope.
what the dice tell you.
Oh.
Beauty's Rest, same. So actually, you do know of an island. In fact, some certain friends of yours told you about it. Used to be a very brilliant place with brilliant people living there. Kind of a little bit of a slightly religious community, but they wouldn't have worded it in that sort of way. Just a very devoted community, right? Very devoted, smaller community. Apparently, the island has suffered some kind of calamity and is considered cursed would be the best term, but cursed is a little more evil sounding than what they would tell you. You know it, but you would know to avoid it because it's a dangerous place. Like,
Okay.
the seas around that island are dangerous, but you don't know where it is. No one knows where it is.
All right. She laughs. No, really. Where are you going?
Yeah, Beauty's Rest.
So, really, what you're looking for is a flying ship. Perhaps a dragon.
Well, you see, there's lots of treasure. Yes, on this island, and obviously they take it there because no one knows where it is.
And do you know
Well,
where it is?
Yes, we have an idea from a map that tells us where it is. Obviously, the map goes with us. So, if you don't take us, you won't get the map, and you won't know where Beauty's Rest is. And they'll then skittles off to grab another crate quickly.
Skittles is not a verb.
He's nervous. He's nervous. Skitters.
That one. His name?
Eravale.
Aravel, and yours?
Gil'win, Gallagher, milady.
If you've heard of me, by the way. That's what that was.
That's what that was. That was a name drop of himself. Oh, so you know what? Actually, give me another history roll real quick.
Sure.
Nat one.
Well, we hope so. You figured that name drop? You have never heard of him in your life.
Yeah, she's unfazed. She would be unfazed anyway, I think. And you?
Me? I am Ocean in the Night. Please call me Night.
Interesting. Ocean in the Night. They call me Indira the Storm.
Oh, that is quite the name. Did you perhaps do something to earn a title such as that?
Hopefully you never have to find out.
Now you've just piqued my curiosity.
That one does know that ideas aren't locations. I can't set my sextant with an idea.
Perhaps you should think about setting your sails and not your sextant. I am a capable navigator, and I would be able to navigate us to the location. Is what I mean by that, obviously, because you would not be using a sextant if you were not navigating.
You made a joke.
Welcome to the Scarlet Dawn. I will take you to the next island. If you prove yourself a worthy crew, then we can head for your mystical island. I feel like adventure. I'm overstocked. Let's finish loading these.
As you will.
Vail turns to Gil'win.
Yeah, you're doing great. I'll go tonight and be like, wow, lady, look. I can't believe this.
I tell you, she guides our path. In a non-literal sense. She is the path. Yes, it'd be yes.
So are we on the dock right now, or did we step onto the ship?
It's one of those things you're kind of going back and forth on the dock and the deck of the ship, and then maybe even below deck to store things if Indira would let you, which I think at this point she definitely would.
Yeah.
I'll walk towards Vail and just be like, oh my god, she is walking. And then stand next to him and be like, you actually did pretty well.
I talked to her. Did you see how I talked?
You said 7 words in a row.
And the joke, what did you think? The navigating?
Yeah, don't do that one again.
No, okay. That's fair enough. I was.
It was the sex part, wasn't it, that you hooked onto?
I was going to make a funnier joke, but hearing that word out of her lips, and I just went blank, and I had to backpedal frantically.
Hearing
I was
sex out of her beautiful, lustrous,
amazing
lips.
Okay.
I'll pat him on the shoulder and walk away.
You load sits down on the deck.
Yeah, you load the ship for the next few hours. I mean, you have more than enough supplies. It starts to get a little darker, but it never gets to night. When you're a little bit before you're ready to head off as a captain, you do your rounds of the ship, make sure everything's fine, everything's good to go. By now, any other workers you got in to help with these guys helping, they kind of oh, you don't need us anymore, they'll take a little bit of pay and head off.
Indira kisses one goodbye.
So now it's just you guys, but then someone walks up the dock with a small group of people. This person is very much a dragonborn, a bronze dragonborn with bronze scale, and sometimes it goes into a bit of an oxidized greenish color. They've actually seen some dragonborn on this island wearing leathers with some metal plates attached, and he'll kind of clear his throat as he doesn't walk up the ship that much. He's kind of the end of the dock and is like, "Is there a Gil'win Gallagher on this ship?"
Yeah.
He's asking.
Don't worry.
Your face feels like it.
Yes, just need to talk to you real quick, son.
You can talk from here. What's up?
Well, I've been hearing that you've been going around, chartering ships, going on little voyages, and turns out you didn't pay all too good, and
Vail's just gonna quietly start pulling up the gangplank.
little bit of a debt on your head. Not that much, you know, I'm just here to talk to you about it. 600 gold pieces. I'm gonna be nice, I'm gonna give you 24 hours to come get it to me.
Wow, that is really.
Considering the voyage that you can clearly see we are about to undertake, I feel like 24 hours is a little bit short.
It's funny you say that, because if Gil'win Gallagher over there leaves this island, his debt triples. That's the laws of Tron.
How many of these guys are there?
There's him, and there are... Let me look.
Let me look at the pre-made battle map.
There are 3 of his guys, who will noticeably have, like, crossbows.
Vail's gonna bring a foot up onto the edge of the deck so that he can lean and look down at him. Right, okay. I'm going to explain this for you because you're clearly, how should we say, not a merchant. If we don't go to get your gold, you don't get the gold. Do you understand this?
You think I want the gold?
I'm
a debt collector.
You want your employer to be pleased, no? Do you think they will be more pleased seeing the gold?
You're foreign, ain't you? You see, you can't pay your debt. That means you're gonna become a slave to the city. Now I hear that this Gil'win Gallagher fellow is some kind of musician. That's fine. And I'm sure the people that he owes money to will find a job for someone and plucking strings.
Pardon, sir. This man will become a slave to nobody. As you can see, we're already raising the anchor and setting the sails, and maybe we'll get you your gold. Maybe.
If you seek payment, then payment is surely more likely to be received after a voyage of adventure and discovery.
I don't think you people understand the simple fact of the law here.
Oh no, I
leave,
understand
it
the fact of
triples.
the law.
I ain't here to fight you. You can leave. And there'll be 1,800 golds on his head.
Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. What was your name?
Roscoe.
Roscoe. I am Vail, and I am currently not on Tron. I am standing on a boat. So if Gil'win was on this boat and not to leave the boat, he has not left Tron, yes? And he taps his nose.
He, like, looks at one of his men, who just kind of, like, shrugs, like, shaking their head, like, what's this guy on about? He looks back and is like, he just owes 600 gold, man.
Okay, we will see you here in 24 hours with 600 gold, yes? You head off now, and we will stay here in the boat. We will not leave the boat, which, as you know, is anchored here. And we will see you with the gold.
In 24 hours.
Or a little bit more, give or take.
I will allow a deception roll. Purely because we're playing D&D.
Oh boy, I'm not a good liar.
I thought you... Oh, he's not a good liar. You just lie a lot.
I just lie a lot.
He just shakes his head and is like, You're trying to leave. And that's fine. I ain't gonna chase you. This debt exists. It's my job to collect it.
All right, so at this point, Indira flashes a great axe at this man, just like kind of holds it and clinks the butt on the deck of the boat, and she's just like, maybe we'll see you in 24 hours with 600 gold, maybe, and like just flash it. She's trying to intimidate him.
Yeah, no, give me an intimidation roll.
Okay.
I read what you're putting down. It's one of those things where that intimidation, it doesn't scare Roscoe. It does scare his boys. who they kind of have their crossbows, and actually one of them is on some rocks nearby, pretty much lining up a shot right at the ship. But they straight up kind of like start backing away, and Roscoe like kind of looks back with a bit of annoyance and shakes his head and is like, "All right, that's fine. I'm just telling you, you know, working off your debt as a slave to the state, 1,800 gold. Gonna take a long time, Mr. Gallagher. Gonna take a long time if you show your face here again." And he like turns and starts walking.
Bye, Roscoe. Nice to meet you.
See you later, you salty drake.
Well, you didn't...
Get it? Because he's not a drake. They're like a lesser dragon. And salty, obviously, it's like a two. As he's saying this, he like turns and then sees Indira, and he just stops.
Indira points at him actually and says, "Raise the damn anchor."
Yes. Maybe. Okay. Sure.
And with that, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back in like 4 or 5 minutes. We'll see you then.